Our top story check today takes us to Jamaica.
That has always been the mission of our party.
Hello JPU family, welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Breaking news, Jamaica has made One Caribbean news, and here's why.
Check today takes us to Jamaica, where more than 100 homes are being provided by the government to help families in need. Our One Caribbean News, Deandra Hamilton reports.
Some 110 houses have so far been built and delivered to Jamaicans across the country under the government's new social housing program. The most recent recipient of those homes were 6 individuals from the parishes of Clarendon and St. Catherine. In speaking at the handing over ceremony on November 10th in Clarendon, Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness said the program is being accelerated to meet the needs of vulnerable Jamaicans. Mr. Holness also said, and I quote, "The government is allocating resources in our budget to improve the living conditions of our most vulnerable across the country and creating equity in our housing market so that even the poorest of the poor can benefit," end of quote. A video obtained by our news team shows a recipient expressing gratitude for her new home that she said she'll be sharing with her mother.
My name is Jordy Mason, and this is my mother, Joan Douglas, the recipient of this beautiful home provided by the government of Jamaica. Words can't really explain how grateful and thankful we are for this beautiful house. I mean, compared to where we're coming from, this is like a dream come true, especially for my mother. And then my mother got sick. It wasn't good for her. It wasn't sanitary at all. So we're just very thankful. We're grateful. I'm beyond happy, especially me, because, I mean, the burden was on me mostly, to have this fixed for her. So a million thank you to the Prime Minister, the government of Jamaica.
The program has been a success and will be mimicked, it seems, in Tobago. Officials from that island nation's housing program are in dialogue with Jamaica now with a view to adopting the program. The NSHP was established in 2018 by Prime Minister Holness and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation to improve the housing condition of the country's poor and disadvantaged population by providing quality, affordable, and sustainable living.
For this opportunity for me to be a homeowner who was living in a terrible condition.
Yes guys, so as you can see, 300 homes set to be delivered to the most needy Jamaicans and to transform Jamaica and make it more efficient where housing is concerned. Due to our history in Jamaica, we have hundreds of thousands of people who we call squatters. It means they have no place to call their home or their own. As part of our national development agenda, we have to fix that. Now guys, I remember recently, couple of nights ago, I shown to say the opposition Senator Floyd Morris, come say, look here, 300 homes over 2 terms is nothing. But hey, Jamaicans who are receiving these homes, they don't think so. They think it's a big deal. And likewise, hello, Tobago, who know a fella in a Jamaica footstep, them think it's a big deal. Also, if you look over there in the Bahamas, they're doing the same thing. They have this big social housing development program going on. And guess who invested $20 million in it? Mark Golding and Peter Bunting. Meanwhile, in Mark Golding's constituency, you see that picture up at the top there? That is his collapsing constituency. But he's not making representation enough for the people for them to have adequate housing. The picture at the bottom is a part of the housing development that he invested in the Bahamas. There's a very important takeaway from this video, and I'm going to show it to you. You see, when it comes down to politics in Jamaica, guys, you see the hostility that this PNP comes with, led by Mark Golding and Peter Bunting. Everybody is realizing that this is not who we are. Even members within their own ranks. The social housing program is not a political thing. PNP people get it and Labour right people get it. Now, when these MPs, Member of Parliament, from the PNP side are called to action, when they have to make recommendations for their constituents to get these housing, and they have to come together with the government in the presence of the people and as it should be, then they realize, listen, we're not a separatist kind of people. We may have our differences on policy sometimes, but we are one people. And I'm going to let you hear it from the mouth of a PNP man who is new in the political arena, and the first time he was elected, his first public appearance on the political platform is when he told the people of his constituency that black people are supposed to support the Jamaica Labour Party. Well, I want you to listen to his tone now. This video was last year when his constituents were presented with homes. He basically apologized for being tribal and hostile. And come to think of it, I have not seen him bashing Andrew Ones and calling him thief and corrupt like how Mark Golding and Bunting have been doing. He has definitely come to his senses and he has toned down his rhetoric, and you have not seen him out there with them doing that. Watch and listen to Lothian Cousins, Member of Parliament, very keenly.
Welcome to Southwest Clermont. As I said to you earlier, that this part of Jamaica is not a stranger to Prime Minister, as we would have had 2 Prime Ministers who would have been members of Parliament for Southern Clarendon, both from your side of the aisle, His Honourable Bustamante and Hugh Lawson Shearer. So certainly, welcome, and you're always welcome. I'm not as hostile as they want to make it appear, right? I'm as civil as can be, because I know that at the end of the day, we all have to work together. But let me just borrow from the Prime Minister. He said something earlier at one of our handover sermons, that the test of whether or not the beneficiary is one that is truly deserving of the house is the response from the community. You can easily glean from the response from the community whether or not it is this beneficiary is deserving. And certainly when you look at the before and after pictures, you see where we started and you see where we are now. And certainly I must lend my support to the social housing program. I have to lend my support to it, because consecutive administrations have always placed housing at the forefront of how we transform the lives of ordinary Jamaicans. What is unique about this program is that this is fully funded by the government, and the individual doesn't have to pay a monthly mortgage, or doesn't have to pay back a single penny. So that's significant. So if you notice, we have handed over, this will make 3 houses. To date, none have been any of those that I have recommended. I understand how the system works, but I believe that we can do some more to make it more efficient. But my recommendation is also that we need to find a better way to fund this so that it can continue. Because I hear you mention earlier about the limited funds that are available, and that you might add some more funds next year. But I think the private sector needs to be invited in a way to come on board and partner and match some of the funding, because I think this is also a way we can move and transform Jamaica. And so I'm going to suggest that to you, because as usual I always try to make some recommendations. Because just criticize, and don't come with suggestions are waste of time. That don't make no sense. But this program makes a lot of sense. I'm sure that the beneficiary, Mancad, Everton Samuels, you're very happy for this house. You have wanted to move in for quite some time, and today is the day.
Everton, congratulations.
Wanna hear that, guys? He totally changed his tone. Because you see, when he comes into the politics, Mark Golding and Rise United and them people, them set a tone for the politics of hate, the politics of separation, the politics of destruction. And he got up on the political platform and said, listen, black people, we're not supposed to support the GLP. Why did he say that, I wonder? Well, if you look at Mark Golding's New Year's message to the nation, I noticed something very interesting here. This is a photograph of it. The whole time he's speaking, he spoke with a little black girl with beads in her hair behind him in a photograph. I don't know about you guys, but I find this to be very exploitative and very offensive. Why didn't he use a photograph of a child that looks like his children? I know my history. And this, my friends, is the exploitation of black people that we have seen throughout history. And it is wrong, and it rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why the PNP does these things and think it's okay. It is absolutely not okay. Highly offensive. This is not the 1920s. The People's National Party needs to stop showing these images of the exploitation of black people. Anyway, guys, the Social Housing Development Program, I think it's a good thing. I don't care if it's 50 houses per year. I understand we are a developing country and these homes cost a lot of money, So if that's the pace that we can afford to do it, then good. We are doing something and people are benefiting from it. So much so where we're making headlines, yes, in the Caribbean region. And we all share the same history in the Caribbean, right? So when you see places like Tobago and the Bahamas and they're doing the same thing, it means we are doing something good. Finish listening to the Prime Minister and what he had to say last year when he and the government delivered this home for this family, as they've done so many families across Jamaica. You are listening to Jamaica Politics Uncovered, guys. Keep it locked here. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Based upon the pictures here, it is clear that you are a deserving beneficiary. Let me say that this program is not political. There is no criteria under the selection parameters which ask for your political allegiance. All that is required to be selected under this program is that we establish that you are someone who is in need. So there are two layers that establishes that. The first is your application to your Member of Parliament, and we expect that your Member of Parliament would come and verify that you are in need. But even after that is done, because the MPs are allotted in the first instance 5 units, and then we have allotted them an additional 5 and an additional 5. But even then, they may get 100 applications for which they must select 15. You see the difficulty? So they must select the most needy cases that can be justified. It then goes to an oversight committee that then takes the application, the recommendation from the MP, and they do what is called a social investigation. They literally send persons from the central ministry into your community to check that Mr. Samuels actually live right here, and this is not some fake picture that has been sent in.